So today I'm reviewing the K70. Now this is a mechanical keyboard from Corsair. It comes in red, blue, and brown cherry MX switches. It only comes in one color, the black anodized aluminum with red backlight. Now they used to offer a model that was gunmetal and blue backlight, however they discontinued that when they added the blue and brown switches. Now I would have liked the gunmetal version with the blue switches because it would have fit my build a lot better. However, I understand why they discontinued it, considering that they would have had 6 models of the same keyboard, and they're about to release the RGB keyboard. I have 2 of these, in fact. This is the one with reds, and the one behind me that you cannot see is the one with browns. Now, why do I have 2? Well, I have 2 systems, and mechanical keyboards have kind of spoiled me, and I really don't want to type on anything else. So as you can see, there's some random keys over here that look a lot different than the rest. Now those are textured and curved gaming optimized keys. Now when somebody says gaming optimized, it automatically throws a red flag to me and says, oh, this is going to be complete crap. Well, honestly it wasn't. When I was switching from console gaming to PC gaming, it was a godsend. It was very difficult for me to switch to keyboard and mouse and try to find WASD in the middle of a match. So it was honestly awesome that these were included. However, if you do not like these, they do come with regular keycaps like the rest of these. So if that doesn't float your boat, they still do have the ones that match the rest of the keyboard, which I have now switched to on my main system, because now that I'm used to where the keys are, it's not much of an issue for me anymore. Now, what else does this keyboard have to offer that most keyboards won't? Well, it's got a dedicated volume wheel, a mute button, a stop, play, pause, and back button. It also has a Windows lock key, a brightness control for the red backlight, and 2 different modes. One that's fully backlight, and the other one that's WASD 1 through 6 and the arrow keys by default. However, you can change this to that mode to whatever you want. So say you want, some stripe design on your keyboard and you want every other one to be on or off. Well, you can do that. Now, what else does it offer? Well, it offers a very, very long cable for people who have their systems further away from their monitors. It's nice and thick, which is very surprising. It's very thick, and it splits off into 2 connectors. Now, one's for the keyboard and one's for the USB pass-through on the back. The USB pass-through is very nice because my system's a little further away from my keyboards, and I'd have to not be lazy and actually get up and plug it in. Now, it is not in an ideal location when it's in the back, because you might have to sit up a little and move the keyboard when you're plugging in a USB thumb drive. I would have liked to see it on the left side so it doesn't interfere with the mouse on the right side, since most people use their right hand for the mouse. It's not the worst thing in the world, and it's easy to circumvent once you're used to it. It also has a switch on the back that says 1, 2, 4, and 8 in BIOS. Now, 1, 2, 4, and 8, that's 1 millisecond, 2 millisecond, 4 millisecond, 8 millisecond. If your computer does not support 1 millisecond response time, then you can switch it and make sure your keyboard will be supported by your computer. And I don't know about you, but I have had some troubles with some BIOSes that just my keyboard will not work. I switch it to BIOS mode, I'm good. I've never had an issue with this keyboard on any BIOS when it's in BIOS mode. Now, what else does it offer? Well, it has a fairly thick aluminum backplate that are under the keys. It has 4 feet on the bottom, which sadly are not rubberized, so if you're on a slick desk or don't have a mouse pad that will keep it from moving, like the Corsair MM200 Extended Edition or other ones, then it will slide around if you have a slick desk. However, it does come with a wrist pad. You don't see this very often with keyboards. It's usually something you purchase separately that really doesn't fit the keyboard, but it does work okay. This, you snap it in. See, I didn't even have to look, it's that easy. And there you go. Now, I was honestly surprised by this wrist pad. I thought after a year or so, since I've had this keyboard for a year, it would be worn down and I'd be looking for a replacement. It looks just as good when I clean it as it does my newer one that Corsair gave me, the one with browns. I was honestly surprised by that. It has a nice soft rubbered texture feel. It fits the keyboard well. It adjusts like this when you use the feet. So honestly, it's an awesome inclusion that you don't see a lot. So that's my review of the K70. Like I said, this keyboard has held up and looks just as great as my brand new one that I've only had for a few weeks. Honestly, it looked as good if I actually took the time and not being lazy and would clean under the keycaps. It looks just as good as it did out of the box, which honestly amazed me. Like when I did a side-by-side comparison, it was amazing that they looked exactly the same. So would I purchase this keyboard again? Obviously, it's a great keyboard and it comes with a 2-year warranty. It has Cherry MX switches, and Corsair has said that they refuse to use inferior switches like the Kale switches, which don't have a higher tolerance rate. Your MX Blues that are Kale switches might feel like black switches. It just depends on the batch. And that's not something I'm personally willing to sacrifice. I want Cherry MX quality, and I will always have that in the keyboard. I can wholeheartedly recommend this. I have had no issues with it whatsoever. I've heard some reports of the backlight LEDs going out, but I have not experienced that on either of my keyboards. And like I've said, I've had this for over a year. They do have a high tolerance rate. And if you do end up having an LED problem where LEDs are going out, Corsair will back you and they will RMA your keyboard. Like I've said in previous reviews, I don't always go for the best, because yes, I could spend $200 on a keyboard and it might have a better scroll wheel or better placement of USBs, but I go for warranties because things break, things happen. I might receive a keyboard or a motherboard or something dead on arrival. When it comes to warranties, that's the biggest thing I look for. If a company's willing to support their product with a long warranty and a great warranty service, I know the product's going to be great, because who's going to insure a product with a great warranty if it's not a great product? They're just going to lose money. And, little side note, here's why my channel is called CatReviewsTech. They ruin everything. Say goodbye, guys. This is Sully and this is Sniffles.